Welcome back to Sportscall here on Friday. It's a beautiful Friday out there, and again, a lot of you going to be getting on the road, headed to your high school, and there's going to be some great football throughout the state of Alabama. Randy, you and I will be calling a game here in a little bit ourselves. Benjamin Russell and Eufaula in a huge region matchup in Alexander City, Alabama at the Sportsplex. Of course, down here in the Auburn-Opelika area, you have got it's a tremendous game. It's always a game everybody talks about.
Well, number 4 versus number 5. And just like the caller Jacob said a little bit earlier, it's always better when Auburn and Alabama are good. And if you're over in the Lee County market, it's always better when Auburn and Opelika are good in the high school market. We love high school sports. When we're on Friday, we're going to talk about it a little bit. Beauregard as well with a big matchup against Tallahassee tonight. And Tallahassee, a juggernaut you'll be seeing over there in Beauregard. Herman McKenzie's the running back.
Yes.
He's been limped a little bit, but he's going for about 200 yards a game. Beauregard is physical, well coached by Smitty Grider. So, again, we look forward to talking to you out there, 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401, if you've got comments on any of the games.
Yeah, one right up the road from here, in between the Benjamin Russell game and the Auburn-Opelika game, is Dayville and Clay Central. And this is for a region championship as well. And Tiger Stadium in Dayville, Alabama is going to be packed to the gills down there. And this game was lopsided last year up at Clay Central, where Dayville was able to Clay Central was able to win that game pretty handily. And I know Dayville's looking for revenge this year. It's going to be a good time. And wherever you're going, make sure you be safe out there and take some warm clothes. It's going to be very cool out there wherever you are tonight. But at this time, we want to go to the phone lines and welcome in Tom Green, prep sports writer for the OA News. Tom, thanks for being on the program this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Tom, I obviously want to start with this Auburn-Opelika game, and it's a huge matchup. It always is, no matter what the records are, but still a lot on the line here in this ball game.
Yeah, certainly. Winners guaranteed at least the first-round playoff game in 2 weeks. Even a chance at the region championship if Smith Station slips up against Central tonight. But, and then the loser's going to have to go on the road in the first round. But, the teams aren't really focused on that, They just want to beat their rival,
Yeah, that's always important. And Brett and I grew up here in Benjamin Russell in Alexander City and always played Auburn and Opelika, and it was a great rivalry back then. And now you're seeing things swing around a little bit. In the 90s and the 2000s, it was Opelika. The past 5 consecutive years, it's been Auburn High School win the regular season matchup. I guess the swing game last year, though, was the third-round matchup where Opelika defeats Auburn 8-7 in a punch-you-in-the-mouth defensive performance. And, that's my question, Tom. You think it'll be like that tonight?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially with the defenses in their region. It's probably the best defensive region in the state right now between them, Smith Station, even Carver's defense is up there. I know they've given up some more points, but they've been playing from behind a lot because their offense has struggled. But, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was a low-scoring game, especially with Stephen Roberts back there at quarterback making just his second start. You don't know exactly what he's going to be able to do against a good team like Auburn.
Yeah, and Stephen, I was going to start with that, Tom. Stephen Roberts moves from the secondary, the 4-star who's currently committed to Alabama, and he can really go. He's a physical guy. And, as just I'm not a fan of either of the programs, but when I look at an 8-7 matchup, let's say in the playoffs last year, with Opelika, and you hate to see Matthew Christian go down as the quarterback, 22 consecutive games he started there. But Stephen Roberts at any point in time can take it the distance. He'll go 60, 70, 80 yards if you give him an opening. And I think that may change the playoff run a little bit for Opelika this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think it's going to open up the offense, really. They said he's still learning the playbook, of course, because, he's only been doing it for 2 weeks. But just his athletic ability, and, he's going to have the chance to extend plays with his legs and create plays with his legs, too. So, it's going to give their other playmakers on offense some time to get open. And I think just having him and an athlete like Reggie Hall in the backfield, they might be able to do some things back there. It might really be a blessing in disguise that Matthew Christian got hurt, really.
Well, and we've got Tom Green on the phone with us here from the OA News. And, Tom, I know that game will be interesting. A team that beat both Auburn and Opelika was Smith Station. And just a team that really caught everybody by surprise, moving through every week here in the AHSAA schedule. And then you look at how they got defeated this past Friday against Carver. It just kind of makes you scratch your head a little bit. And it just shows you on any given Friday, some of these teams like Carver that are just so talented can put a whipping on you if you're not focused. And it was an emotional win for Smith Station over Opelika the week before, winning 3-0. So maybe a little bit of a hangover, but they've got another tough one themselves against Phoenix City coming up tonight. Talk about that game a little bit. And if Smith Station loses to Phoenix City, who is your region champ?
If Smith Station loses, then the Opelika Auburn winner is going to take the region, regardless. And I believe the lowest that Smith Station can fall in terms of seeding is second, because if they lose, then there'll be a three-way tie with two lost teams, between Carver, Smith Station, and the Opelika Auburn loser. But Smith Station would have beaten the first-place team, which would be the winner of the Opelika Auburn game regardless. So I believe they locked up at least the home playoff game. But, yeah, and then, just the game tonight, I think they're going to be able to bounce back. Central's got some athletes out there, and, Travion Samuel and Khaled Berkland. But Smith Station's going to come back angry after last week. They really had a chance in that game. They just shot themselves in the foot. They turned it over 4 times, which is, they had 3 turnovers in the previous 7 games before that. So it was a very uncharacteristic game for them. And I think, they might not being able to coach their title in 6A. But I think Mark Rose has them focused this week, and they'll get back on track.
It'll be interesting to see how they rebound. One more game I want to talk to you about, Beauregard and Tallahassee. That's a big matchup. Tallahassee, the lone loss to Charles Henderson earlier in the season. Of course, Beauregard has been a very good football team for quite a while now. They travel down to Tallahassee. How do you see that matchup coming out?
It's hard to tell. I mean, Tallahassee, they got 3 really good running backs back there. All 3 of them could finish the season with over 1,000 yards, which is, that's pretty special right there. And then Beauregard's got some playmakers of their own. They got Trey Collins, who everybody was going to had their eyes on going into the season, and because teams have been double teaming him and triple teaming him in coverage, it's opened things up for players like Taquan Menefield, who's I believe second in the area right now in receiving. And they just got some playmakers. It's going to come down to who's going to be able to stop who. But I think Tallahassee's going to have the edge in that one barely.
Going to be interesting. Big night of high school football, and Tom, I want you to promote your website out there in the paper, the OA News, because we read it every Saturday morning to get the latest on all the teams in this area.
Right. Yeah, you can read us at oanews.com. You can follow us on Twitter at OA Now Sports, and you can follow me on there at OA News Preps.
Well, that's good stuff, Tom, and we'll continue to promote that here on Sports Call. And, again, we want to thank you for taking some time out this afternoon to be part of the program, okay?
Definitely. Thanks for having me, guys.